So hello students, let me welcome to all of you once again to this AMIT SINHA IAS Academy, an online initiative under this lockdown period. As you must be knowing about that we have already concluded almost more than 5-6 videos in fact on chapter number 1 of NCERT. So this is going to be a class of NCERT based Indian history of modern India, and I believe that many of you are already aware of that the NCERT of class 12th was written by Bipin Chandra. So we are discussing about the Bipin Chandra's NCERT of class 12th along with some more facts from some other advanced textbooks. Okay, so let us now discuss about the last dimension of chapter 1, that is the rise and fall of Maratha power. Fine. So we have to discuss about the rise and the fall of the Maratha power. Now see, in the 18th century, obviously the Marathas had emerged as the most formidable power in entire pan-India, and it was being constituted as the another alternative against the Mughal Empire in the 18th century. Since Mughal Empire in the 18th century was on the declining trend, and this declining trend was actually capitalized upon by the Marathas in the 18th century, especially under the Peshwas. So we have to discuss about that particular part of the history, but let me give you a brief idea about the rise of Marathas. See, the rise of Marathas has to be traced from the emergence of Shivaji. Now Shivaji was the founder of the Maratha state, and since his time only this particular Maratha state was being recognized as one of the most formidable power in the entire Deccan area of India. Fine. And therefore there was always a issue of conflict between the Mughals and the Maratha power, especially under Shivaji. So in the context of that only, Aurangzeb has had a problem with Shivaji, and of course Shivaji's idea or his own idea of making a concept of Swaraj there in the entire Maratha state. Alright, so that was actually the background under which this issue actually started cropping up. Now the NCERT very nicely talks about that obviously after Shivaji death in 1680, his son Sambhaji, he came into power, but Sambhaji was also captured by Aurangzeb, and he was also killed by Aurangzeb. And once he was killed by Aurangzeb, then his son Sahuji, he was captured and he was kept as a of course as a prisoner in the prison of Aurangzeb. So till that particular point of time, Sahuji, the son of Sambhaji, was under the custody of Aurangzeb. Now once Aurangzeb passed away, especially in 1707, his son Muhammad Muazzam, so he actually when he was about to attain the power, he actually released Sahuji. So as I told you in my earlier lecture also, Sahuji was released in 1707 with this intention that the Mughals wanted to create dissensions among the Maratha power, because by that time already another alternative in the Maratha state was already has been created in the form of the state of Kolhapur, which was under the command of Tarabai. Now who was Tarabai? Tarabai was the wife of Rajaram. So Rajaram was the brother of Sambhaji or son of Shivaji in that way. So of course Tarabai was commanding the entire entire authority in Kolhapur, and in this context Sahuji was released just to create a dissensions in the Maratha state altogether. I am primarily speaking to all of you that Maratha state was just like a segmentary state. It was just like a segmentary state. Of course there was one power being recognized by all the Sardars of Maratha in the form of the legacy of Shivaji. But at the same time, the Maratha Sardars were also the autonomous, you can say, the chieftains of their respective areas. So in this context only we have to see the development of politics in the Marathas altogether. So in this of course background, Sahuji came into power. So what we have to understand, once Sahuji came into power, he actually established his power especially in Satara. Satara. And one of the good things that he was able to do was to create a post of Peshwa almost hereditary. Peshwa was the post of Prime Minister inside, or Chief Minister inside the Marathas. So Peshwa's post became hereditary, of course, under Sahuji. And here Balaji Vishwanath was made as the first Peshwa who came under Sahuji, and this particular person was very, you can say, talented one in terms of uniting all the local Sardars of Maratha power, and therefore he became very influential, one of the most influential leaders of Deccan at that point of time. And of course, Sahuji, being a very, you can say, legalized authority there in the state of Maratha, he also used to recognize the significance or the role of Balaji Vishwanath as a very high rated. Alright, a high rated role was given to Balaji Vishwanath. Now Balaji Vishwanath was succeeded by his son, another very, you can say, important, very powerful, very talented person, Bajirao. So Bajirao first succeeded Balaji Vishwanath, and then Bajirao was succeeded by Balaji Baji Rao. Alright, so Balaji Baji Rao was the third important, you can say, line of Peshwas under the Marathas, and under his regime only the Battle of Panipat was fought. Now that's what actually we have to discuss, but just see, I mean, these all Peshwas actually acquired enormous power. Why enormous power? Because of multiple reasons. One of the reasons was that already I just told you that Maratha state was a segmentary state. In other words, the Maratha Sardars were autonomous Sardars in their respective areas, yet they used to show their of course affiliation or affinity with the state of Maratha, with the center of Maratha state, especially in the context of the seat of Sahuji in Satara. Fine. So that what actually was the line of connectivity that was there between the Maratha Sardars and the Peshwa, or even you can say Sahuji in that way. Fine. Now in this particular backdrop only we have to see there was there was already a possibility of dissensions in the Maratha Confederacy altogether, and at the same time the entire Deccan, that is the part right from Maharashtra towards the southern part of India, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra, so these all part of India, they were already having multiple, you can say, many of the local Rajas, local chieftains like Nizam, alright, even Kolhapur, Maharaja of Kolhapur, fine. So Nizam, then of course Mysore, they all emerged by this particular point of time. So there were already an irregular fight among each other at that particular point of time. But out of those, you can say, struggles, those irregular fightings, of course Marathas emerged as the most powerful, of course, state in the entire Deccan. Fine. And in this context only, they were also having a sort of a vision, a sort of an ambition also to control the entire affairs of the Mughals even in the north part of India. Fine. And here they were successful in doing that. They were largely successful in doing that. Now right from the era of Sahuji, of course Sahuji was released by Muhammad Muazzam or Bahadur Shah first. So since then only Sahuji was treated, of course, positively by Bahadur Shah first, recognizing as one of the major powers in the Deccan. Therefore, I told you already that he was already granted the Sardes Mukhi of some of the areas in Deccan by the Mughals also. Fine. And at the same time, very few people know about it, that Sahuji had already gone to the tomb of Aurangzeb to show the obeisance, to show the respect towards the Mughal authority at that point of time. So Marathas were given the recognition, and at the same time, of course, Marathas used to also also get some of the tax collection on the behalf of the Mughals at that point of time. Now since then only there was, you can say, some of the connection between the Marathas with the Mughal Empire. And obviously this person Balaji Viswanath, now he had got an opportunity to also be there in the politics of Delhi, in the state of Delhi, and to see very closely the internal politics of the Mughals altogether. That's the reason why they were already having a vision that once Mughals would start declining, they will overpower them and they will actually be able to establish a pan-Indian empire. So that what actually was a vision that was already there with these Peshwas like Balaji Viswanath. Bajirao first was equally a very powerful Peshwa at that point of time. And there is a very popular statement of Bajirao first, that he made a statement that let us strike on the trunk of the withering tree. This statement can be asked to you as a question in prelims, that who made this statement for whom? Statement was, let us strike at the trunk of the withering tree, the branches will fall off automatically. So this statement was made by Bajirao first for the Mughals, because the Mughals were declining, and now here the vision of the Peshwas or the Marathas were very clear. They wanted to not only play the dominant role in the politics of North India, but also to control the entire politics of North India by replacing the Mughals and having their own empire altogether there in the Indian territory, especially in North India. So that what actually was the vision. This is the reason why a call of Hindu Patpat Shahi was given by Bajirao first. Fine, that is Hindu Empire call was given to Bajirao first. That's the reason why it is said that Marathas had two parts of history. One part of history was under the rule of Shivaji and his successors. Another part of rule was under the rule of Peshwas, especially like the Balaji Viswanath, Bajirao first, and Balaji Bajirao. Alright. So that's what actually is two part of Maratha history altogether. Fine. So this all incidents have been very clearly mentioned there in the NCERT. Fine. Now in this context, what we have to understand, that this person Balaji Bajirao, he shifted his capital from Satara to Pune. He shifted his capital to Satara to Pune, and afterwards he actually has had a vision also to expand the Mughal authority towards the northern part of India. For example, under his rule, of course, he was able to control the entire region of Malwa. He was able to expand the Maratha influence from Malwa to Gujarat, and from Gujarat to some part of Bundelkhand. So till Bundelkhand, of course, you can say the border between UP and MP, now that particular part of region was already in the control of the Marathas. Now here the vision was to expand the territory towards the north, and here they had already entered into the area of Punjab also to control the region of Punjab. Now that became the major factor of the contention between the Marathas under Balaji Bajirao and AMIT Shah Abdali, which culminated into the Battle of Panipat on 14th of January 1761. Fine. So Battle of Panipat was fought